Turn desires into wood and stone, restrain all passions, and keep your mind always focused on itself. Marcus Aurelius. A torch is lit in the dark night of the human soul, illuminating the path from chaotic instincts to profound awakening. Desires, soft and flammable like dry grass before a hot wind, are advised to be transformed into wood and stone, sturdy, serene, unmoved by the winds of temptation. It doesn't mean destroying emotions, but transforming them from a raging flood into a gentle river flowing in the right direction. When passions are restrained, one is no longer dragged along by instincts, but becomes the one holding the reins of the wild horse within their own heart. The mind, if it keeps wandering outward in search of pleasure, will be like a dry leaf drifting aimlessly in a storm, but when it turns inward to focus on itself, it becomes a sturdy tree, rooted deeply in the quiet earth. There, tranquility sprouts, wisdom blooms, and inner strength grows like the morning sun spreading across the valley. True freedom doesn't lie in satisfying every desire, but in the ability to choose without being dominated by them. When one achieves that, they enter a state of profound lightness, where the soul is clear like a still lake, reflecting the vast sky of peace and happiness. There is nothing noble in being superior to others. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. Ernest Hemingway, The Quiet Yet Greatest Journey. The journey of conquering oneself. Comparing oneself to others is like standing on a low hill and being proud of being taller than the nearby field, while far away there are overlapping mountain ranges, silently reaching up to touch the clouds. True nobility doesn't lie in the admiring gazes of the world, but in the persistent steps one takes on the path of self-improvement. Each day overcoming a bad habit, each time defeating laziness, each moment daring to stand up after failure is like polishing a rough stone into a shining gem. Life thus no longer becomes a noisy race of winning and losing, but turns into a symphony of growth where one listens to their own heartbeat and adjusts it to be more harmonious each day. The person today is more patient than yesterday, stronger than yesterday, wiser than yesterday. That is the victory with a sweet and lasting flavor. Like the sun that doesn't need to compare its brightness to the stars yet still shines in its own way, people don't need to surpass anyone to become radiant. They just need to take one more step each day toward a better version of themselves. Like the early breeze over a young rice field, gentle but full of life, making the reader feel their heart soften. Stop the exhausting competition and begin to cherish the journey of inner development. When understanding that, one no longer lives to prove their worth to the world, but lives to nurture the value within themselves. And from there, nobility spreads naturally like the fragrance of flowers blooming in spring. We cannot become the person we need to be by remaining who we are now. Oprah Winfrey. A door opens before the river of time, forcing one to step out of the familiar comfort zone to enter the land of maturity and transformation. The current self, with outdated habits, silent fears, and invisible limits, is like a shirt that's become too tight after many years. If one doesn't dare to change it, they will never feel the spaciousness of the new sky. Change is not betraying oneself, but the process of a butterfly shedding its dark cocoon to fly into the brilliant sunlight. Each time daring to learn something new, abandon a bad habit, or face a challenge, one is gently carving the future from the rough stone of the present. If one clings to the old self like a heavy anchor tying down the boat, the journey to the open sea will forever remain a dream. But when daring to pull up the anchor, the boat of life can glide over waves to explore the vast horizon. One looks at themselves with courage and hope, not fearing change but seeing it as a strict yet loving teacher. When one accepts that they need to grow, to change, to become better, each small step today will become a solid foundation for the radiant person of tomorrow. And in the moment of realizing that, the soul suddenly feels light as a bird spreading its wings in the high sky, filled with faith that change is the path leading to the best version of oneself. Always give your best and enjoy the work because I think that's how you'll succeed more. You have to choose to do that. Simone Biles. Someone who has traversed many slopes of life and understands the value of commitment, Giving your best isn't just completing responsibilities, but putting your whole heart into every small action, like an artisan diligently polishing each carve on a rough piece of wood to create a vivid masterpiece. When one enjoys the work, each hour of labor no longer feels like a burden dragging weary feet, but becomes a cool stream nourishing the spirit, helping one advance without exhaustion. Success, therefore, doesn't fall like a lucky gift from the sky, but sprouts from a proactive attitude and the joy of contribution. You have to choose emphasizes that passion isn't something naturally always present, but a daily decision, like choosing to light a lamp in a dark room instead of sitting and complaining about the darkness. There are days when work is heavy, like climbing a hill in the midday heat, but if one sees the distant peak and feels each step forward, sweat will turn into pride. One isn't swept away by circumstances, but has the right to decide how to proceed. When effort becomes a habit and joy accompanies responsibility, the path to success gradually emerges like sunlight piercing through clouds, warm, clear, and full of hope, making each workday not just an obligation but a journey worth living. Success doesn't lie in the final result, but in the lessons you learn along the way. Vera Wang. One views life as a journey of growth rather than a destination to conquer. The final result is like a flower blooming in a brief moment, brilliant then fading away, while the lessons are the roots, silently clinging deep into the earth, nourishing one throughout life. Each stumble is a pebble on the rugged path, seemingly causing pain, but it actually helps one walk more steadily afterward. The days of failure, when sweat mixes with tears, are when willpower is tempered like steel in red fire, tougher and brighter. If one only fixates on the destination, it's easy to miss the beauty of the sunset along the way, of unexpected encounters and the profound changes happening within oneself. But when cherishing each lesson, each experience, one realizes that every step has value, whether fast or slow. Patience and gratitude help the reader stop obsessing over winning and losing, replacing it with the joy of learning and growing. Success, at that point, is no longer a trophy on a high shelf, but a steadfast person, understanding life and oneself better after each journey passed. And precisely in the process of accumulating those lessons, one truly becomes wealthy, rich in experience, rich in resilience, and rich in peace of mind.
Best quotes of all time, where the greatest quotes on the planet become your superpower.